Impermanence. In the Wisdom of Armor, Buddha witnessed that the nature of life is impermanent, that all things must go through the process of changing. From birth to the destruction, it does not last forever. Scientific evidence back to the 17th and 18th centuries also confirmed that everything in this universe has nothing keeping its fixed properties in place. Changes happen continuously from birth to death. Gautama Buddha was not the creator of this law, but with his hindsight, he experienced it 2,500 years ago. Gautama Buddha says that the impermanence is the law that governs all things in this universe. From the mind, it is impermanent. From the body, it is impermanent. And from environmental surroundings, it is impermanent. This cyclical cycle occurs in 4 stages. The first is forming. The second is staying. The third is decaying. And lastly, the fourth is passing away. Reflecting back on life, we clearly see the changes throughout the 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Spring forms, summer blooms, autumn fades, and winter dies. These 4 seasons are a metaphor of impermanent situations. Looking back to the past, the civilizations throughout the decades, no matter how developed they were, are subjected to the law of impermanence. Anything that is extremely prosperous will eventually decline. Therefore, impermanence means that everything has to change and nothing is externally forever. When the word impermanent is presented, most of us think of separation, death, decay, and annihilation, but that is just one of the categories of impermanence. However, impermanence have different meanings, and they are displacement, transformation, achievement, and growth. The nature of impermanence has both positive and negative attributes. The shift from bad to good is called positive. The opposite from good to bad is called negative. Today's bad circumstances change for the better, or today's good circumstances change for the worst. Referring to impermanence of the body, Gautama Buddha, known as the Crown Prince, after walking through the 4 gates of the city. The prince saw the old, the sick, and the dead. The prince realized that when a person is born in this body, we must go through the 4 stages. The stage of birth, progressing to old age, illness, and death. The Crown Prince finally realized that this body eventually returns to dust, just as impermanent like everything else. In addition, there are positive aspects of the body of impermanence. As a small child, our body grows, change physically, and become adults living life fully. A verse from Catherine Pulsifer. It is amazing to see how big they can be. Yesterday so small, today so tall. These changes are called impermanence in the positive, and vice versa. The verse said, "Yesterday is there, today is gone." Suddenly, understanding impermanence is scary. This verse has negative meanings about the body being fragile like a water bubble, which can burst at any moment. This is what Buddha meant. Secondly, the mind is a powerful source that creates the world today, but it is also impermanent like everything else. It changes constantly from sad to happy to loving and to hate. Today, one can be in this one mood, and tomorrow they can be in another. Sometimes reminiscing about the past, sometimes dreaming about the future, and leading to worry about the present. To help understand the human's mind, Gautama Buddha said, "The mind is sentient beings is like monkey passing branches and a horse running around." The poet Xuan Du have 2 verses. "Hurry up, darling, I'm afraid of tomorrow." Life flowing, our hearts are not forever. This poet has been educated by the Buddha Dharma enlightening of this life and understanding the mind-human logically. Those two verses are called impermanent mentality. Impermanence often takes place when we stand in front of a certain scene or experience separation, loss, and breakdowns. As the saying goes, life is impermanent because we have not yet to realize the meaning of impermanence. If we realize this principle deeply and understand it as such, then we will be calm in the face of any unexpected happening. When we feel that the current situation is not satisfying, we should not be discouraged. It's better to think that everything is impermanent. If we know how to transform, tomorrow will be better. Seeing the impermanence of all things can eliminate cravings and keep our minds in the calm of unexpected happenings and circumstances. Seeing clear impermanence, we realize what is precious in this present moment. Therefore, we should cherish and nurture it. Life is inherently like a coin with two sides. It is impossible to have happiness without suffering. It is impossible to suffer without happiness. All senses parallel with each other like happiness, sufferings, sadness, and joy. Whatever comes will eventually pass. Everything has to move on. It follows its natural principle so that this world can be achieved as it is today, and the people have faith to overcome all sufferings in life. Anyone who comes to the Buddha Dharma, whether to understand or comes with the determination to practice, must be required to know the law of impermanence. Practicing contemplations of this law will further help overcome all the sufferings and dissatisfactions of life. Day after day, think about what impacts we have made in our lives. Everything from sadness to happiness, gaining or losing. Taking a moment to finally look back, we realize that we've grown old and life is so short. The law of impermanence silently changes. It changes every hour, every minute, every second, and we don't even notice it. Going back to the Buddha, he analyzed that this life is impermanent and unsatisfactory. But he is also full of praise of this world and named it nirvana. Nirvana is a state of mind when afflictions and sufferings are eliminated. This life is nirvana when your mind is nirvana. We have the ability to create peace and happiness from within, whether life is impermanent or unsatisfactory. Buddha said, "The world is grieved by death and disintegration. The wise do not grieve because they realize the nature of this world.